Hey there folks, welcome you all to yet another vlog of mine. Well people, it has been quite a while since we've done one, hasn't it, eh? And there's been a number of reasons for that. I think the last one we did was at the beginning of December. I think I recorded it on the 1st, I think it might have went live on the 3rd, something like that. Had every intention of doing New Year vlogs, Christmas vlogs and all the sorts, but I just didn't, people, and we did manage to do some video game footage, but we didn't actually do, well, game recording, let's play stuff we managed to do, and we managed to get through a Diablo 4, and then we jumped straight into Diablo 3. Now Diablo 3, it didn't have quite the audience that 4 did, but I expected that. It was an older game, but playing 4 just made me really want to play 3 again, and that's why that happened. And through Christmas, I just had a really quiet Christmas. I didn't have any beers or any. I've still got the beers that I bought for Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, which I had planned to have a few flagons and stuff and record stuff. Those beers are still in the fridge. So it's possible now. It's possible to get drunk soon, is what I was about to say there. Now, I am going to start off with doing a channel update and chatting about what I've been up to and all that sort of stuff. So this will be very much a mix of the news that is in the thumbnail and what have you. I will, as always, try and put a timestamp in, so if you're just interested in the topics that I might bring up, then you can just jump straight to that and not have to listen to me blabber on, people, about all the things I've been up to in my life. So we're just going to talk about things that have been going on with me and quick channel update, and then we'll get into a couple of news topics that we want to talk about. So first and foremost, the reason I haven't done anything really in the last sort of month and a half or so is because I have a new furry four-legged friend in my life called Max. Now, those of you that chat to me regularly will know this already, and for the rest of you, I'm telling you now, people. And it really was just a case of, now, anyone that follows the channel knows that I lived alone. I don't now because I've got Max. But so taking care of a puppy when you're on your own is kind of very all-consuming, because you never really get left alone a lot to do any sort of length of time stuff, like an hour of recording on Let's Play, for example, or sitting doing this and not getting constantly interrupted and that sort of thing. But he has settled down massively, people. He really has. Still has his wild moments. Now, he is, I don't think you can see him, but he is literally right here next to me, and he's snoozing. So we'll see how we go, and we'll see if he makes an appearance, because if he wakes up, I'll not poke the beast, people. I've got off to a good start. This is my first take, people. We've got off to a good start. And I don't want to poke the beast and then he'll be all active and wanting to play with me, because he won't understand that I'm recording into a camera. He'll think I just want to play with him. But he is literally just here, and we will ensure that we get him shown into the camera at some point in this little video. But he's beautiful. He's a little border terrier, and I picked him up. He was the last of his litter to get picked. And when I was looking at dogs, I was actually looking at finding one that was older, because I've got a lot on at work at the moment in my day job. And then obviously I like doing stuff like this, and I thought, well, I don't want the extra work of a puppy, which is breaking them in and getting them taught in absolutely everything and having to constantly watch them for toilet stuff and all that sort of thing. But when I was searching, I did some research on what breed of dog would suit me, and breeds of dog that don't bark too much, and breeds of dogs that can settle on their own without sort of pining for constant company and that sort of thing, but still one that's going to want a lot of love and hugs and all that sort of thing. So the border terrier came up pretty high in all of that, and yeah, they do like a little bark, but they don't bark for no reason. They generally bark because the door's gone, or because they just want, like, in the morning I'll take him out, and the first person he sees, he'll start barking at them. It's almost like he just wants to say hello to somebody, and then after that he never barks at anyone again. So he doesn't bark a lot at all, and he's been, if you could have found the perfect puppy, that's what Max has been. In fact, here he's just woken up a little bit. Here we can see him. Say hello, Max. Say hello to everybody. Hey, here's my wingman, Max. Hello. Hello. There you get a proper look at him. There you go, guys. There he is. Oh, we've got a bit of light there as well, so you can see him properly. I apologise for the lighting today. It's the sun is behind me. So there he is. There's Maximus. There he is. I'll let him put it back down. Go back to your little sleeps now. So there you are. We saw him, people. But he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been the best puppy I could have asked for. I had literally, I don't know, I think maybe 6 or 7 little wee accidents in the house, and not one singular poo accident in the house from the minute I picked him up. And I think, to be fair, the guy who bred him had done me a fairly big favour by doing some crate training with him anyway, so he was used to a crate. And he just seemed to know not to do poos in the house from the minute I got him, because he just didn't. But the wheeze, we had to break that out of him a little bit. But I don't even have to watch him for toilet anymore. He's just superb. I've not had to watch him for toilets for the best part of it. When did I get him? I think it was the beginning of February or thereabouts. And I've not had to watch him at all for toilets in about a month and a bit. So I'm really, really delighted, and it's really nice that he's still the only time that that is a little bit tricksy now is if I'm actually doing, like, it wouldn't matter if he started playing with me now, because I can just stop and I'll start recording when he's settled down again. But when I'm doing my day job, if I'm in a Teams meeting and stuff, and he suddenly gets, well, like, he wants to play with me, he starts jumping up all over the place. That's the bits where I have to have a plan. So what I tend to have is like toys sort of hidden behind a cushion near me. And if he jumps up and starts sort of reaching at my laptop and stuff or trying to get me, I tend to just grab one of those and throw it in his mouth, and off he goes and plays with that. And that tends to keep him distracted. So, but it doesn't happen often. It's been really, really good. And normally he knows I'm working. He just settles down. But every now and then he wants some attention, and he wants me to play with him. So generally speaking, we'll have a little walk in. We'll have a walk in them. I know we're not meant to overwalk puppies, so I know this, but we tend to have about a 40-minute walk in the morning. And then we'll have a shorter walk in the evening, which is a little bit longer than is recommended. But honestly, he's got so much energy that he needs the exercise. Otherwise, he'd be running. he'd be driving me up the. Well, he'd be driving himself up the wall because he just needs out. But the beauty is that anyone following the channel knows this, but I'm going to say it again. So opposite me, behind this camera, this is the living room, and then the kitchen and dining room about there. And I don't have a dining room. I have my little chill out area. I've shown it off before on the channel. And it's basically a 2-seater couch facing that way. And I've got my guitars on either side of it. I've got a music thing on this side, so I can have like a sound bar where my music can just come from Bluetooth, and I can sit out there, chill, beers. In fact, I've recorded some of the vlogs out there, as you know. So one of my guitars on the right-hand side has now gone into the attic for now. And Max's crate and bed is on that side of the couch now, and he's got his little cozy place there. So the setup's really, really good. And then and then right next to that is the garden door, which slides open, and he can just wander in and out at his leisure. So the plan is that I'll be able to sit and work there, and he can just wander in and out of the garden whenever he feels like it. It's still a bit cold to actually have the door open all the time at the minute, but in general terms, the plan is working, and that's what we're doing. I just don't have the door open all the time at the minute. He's now able to. Initially, he was only allowed to play. I had this door between the living room and the kitchen shut. And he was only allowed to play in that kitchen area in front of me. And I also had a little puppy pen thing that I just kind of pulled across if I needed him to just leave me alone. But to be fair, I've hardly ever needed to use it, and it's now tucked away. I think I used it all of 2 or 3 times way back when I first got him. And now that I don't have to watch him for toilet, the living room door is now always open, and he can wander in and out the living room and into the kitchen. And the weather is now warming up, and we have had a few occasions where the main problem with him wandering outside at the minute is my garden. There's been so much rain, as you'll all know. My garden is like a bog. So whenever he goes out and comes in, his paws are just black. Because I've got decking at the front, and then it drops to the garden, and he goes, I've trained him to always go to the garden and the grass to do his business, because I don't want it happening all over the decking. So he's bob on with that. But it does mean that if I do that and leave the door open at the moment, I need to shut this living room door. It's all right to come in with muddy feet in the kitchen because I can mop, it's just linoleum or whatever. But it's cream carpets, isn't it? Cream carpets, for God's sake. That's Craigie boy, that was. Anyway, so there we are. So my life has become all about puppy for the last month and a half or whatever it's been now. And we're now getting into a really nice settled place where we've just got this little relationship going now. He's he's just brilliant. His training's gone really well. I had him off the lead for the first time today, out on a sort of big field at the back, which again has been so boggy that I've not taken him onto it yet. But I just wandered onto it. I bumped into some people that I bump into regularly, and they've got older dogs, and they said, why don't you just try him off with ours while we're here? So I took him off the lead and let him just run around with their dogs on the field, and every time I called him he came back, so that's a really good sign. So I might try that. Once the field dries out, I'll try that a few more times with him as well. But I mean, if I wouldn't risk walking with him without a lead on at the minute, because the minute he sees something like another people, dogs, bird, anything that catches his eye, he's off, and trying to call him back is hard work if he's tunnel visioned. I mean, he will eventually notice that he's, I've gone or not, because they don't venture far from you at that age apparently. But he is like, tunnel vision, like, whoa, I want that. So, but he's been brilliant. He's been really, really good. So there you are. So that's been why there's not been much in the way of content, because obviously I've not been in a position to be able to sort of sit for hours on end at a time and record without Max needing some attention or whatever. But now, what I'm doing now is you'll see that I've started posting. I managed to post up the end of Diablo 3, finally. So that Let's Play is now finished. There's a full Let's Play of Diablo 3 now on the channel. Level 68, 69 really, but it was level 68 and 9.99999. I just one more level and I would have got my Paragon, or whatever it is, Paragon tree, which is at level 70 you get into another skill tree. So I could off camera just go and do some stuff and get into it, and probably an achievement for it as well. But yeah, we were just shy of it, and I was kind of gutted because I thought I should have moved to the harder difficulties much sooner, because you get like double and triple and quadruple the bloody XP. So I could have easily reached level 70. So I feel like maybe off camera I might just do like a super hard playthrough, and just see how much fun I can get out of it, because I really love the game. And I've been back to that game a number of times now. And I have to say that without any shadow of a doubt, Diablo 3, for me, is a better game than Diablo 4, so far as I just like a contained world like that. And I got fun out of Diablo 4. It's not a bad game. I'm not saying that at all. I got fun out of it. I finished the campaign. I got a lot of game time out of it. But there's nothing calling me back. I've tried all of the classes, or I tried a few of them anyway off camera. And I just feel like when I get so far into it, it's just kind of not got the same interest hook for me that 3 had. So I don't know. I kind of like the style of 3 as well, because it doesn't just look like every other type of game that's like that now. Like, I know it got a hard time for being all that sort of more graphic novel, cartoony type style, but I think it kind of made it stand out a little bit from things like, the other games like it. Like Path of Exile, for example. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I probably will play Diablo 4 again at some point. By the way, Diablo 4 is now on Game Pass, people, which is one of the news items I did jot down as of today, I think. We're on, where are we? Good Friday. It's Good Easter Friday, people. Do you know, I was working all week and I hadn't twigged to the fact that I was off on Friday. Which is why I'm recording this now. And can I say, flaggins up to you all, but it's not really a flaggin', it's a 7-Up, people. And it's not because I don't want to have a drink, it's just because it's 12:30 in the afternoon. So when I was setting this up, it was still morning, people. And don't drink in the morning, people. My general rule is don't drink, well, unless you're at a wedding or something, don't drink before 5. It's kind of a wise one for me that I've kind of stuck with. Unless I do make exceptions when it's summertime, like I've spoken about on this, I'm sure, where I wander up to the seafront and sit and look out with the sun shining down. So sometimes, I might end up at the seafront at 3 p.m, for example, and having a beer, looking out into the sea and stuff. But I tend not to drink, earlier than that, generally, like at lunchtimes and stuff. It's not so much that I can't stop or anything. I mean, I can have a pint and then move on. But the problem is, when I have a pint, if I don't have another pint, then I just feel a bit kind of snoozy after having a pint. It doesn't just wear off and I carry on with my day. I kind of feel like, I feel like a nap now. So I just tend to not do it, people, and keep it for a sort of late afternoon, nighttime thing. Not that I drink much anyway these days, but even before, December it was, I was only having a tipple on it once a week, like a Friday or a Saturday, depending on when I would record one of these or just chill out. But anyway, the fancy had not taken me for 3 months now, is that? Where are we? Yeah. So we're just starting April, aren't we? So it's been 4 months nearly. Blimey. Good grief, people. I'm fine. Yeah, there's my hand that I damaged. The hand I had to have 2 operations on is still... anyway, I'm going to have a sip of this. Again, those of you following the vlogs and channel will know this, but... So that's a normal hand. And that's... in fact, you might have heard that click there as I did that. So I'm managing to get nearly a full fist in, but not quite. Not quite, but and it's still, the knuckles are still sore and what have you, and I can't put them straight up like that. There's still a bend in the 2 middle ones. But we're getting there, people. We're getting there. We're miles and miles from where we were, but they did say, the doctors said that I'd probably have arthritis, and those fingers are indeed that hand from now and forever, or if not, and it does, get better, then at some point later it'll probably flare up as arthritis at some point. But it is what it is. They've still done me a marvellous job of getting my hand working properly again to a greater degree. So that's also a bonus, and the game is much more comfortable now. I'm not in a bit of agony if I do record for a while. So there you are. So that's the main reasons that things have not been going on the channel. But now Max has all calmed down. What we've got now is the little... So walk him in the morning, walk him in the evening. So I tend to do the walk in the evening, and then if he's ready for a bit of a snooze at that point, then I'll try and squeeze in a bit of recording, which is how I've managed to do some Dragons Dogma and how I managed to finish off Diablo. So we're getting a good little routine going, and he does tend to be, like, if I do throw him a toy and stuff, he tends to then just go off and play by himself. But it's trying to avoid witching hour, as we like to call it. It's not an hour, but we call it witching hour. It's usually about 5-10 minutes with him. He just goes batshit crazy and sprints end to end the living room and growls and rolls about, and then he does that for 5-10 minutes and then crashes. So it's just avoiding those sort of moments to get back into a routine of recording. And plus, I don't want to spend the same ridiculous amount of hours recording in a wanna that I used to, because I don't want to ignore him for 4 or 5 hours at a time. It's not nice on him. Especially when I've been sitting, like in the week, he's already had to sit with me, sitting, working on my laptop, ignoring him for most of the day. Gets his walk in the morning. I'll try and sometimes have a little play with him at lunchtime, which is quite good. I do a bit of training with him at lunchtimes from time to time. And then we'll have the evening walk. But for the rest of the time, he still wants me to be able to interact with him. But I have to focus on work, so he's kind of been ignored a lot through the day. But, it is company, though. And the reason I got him is because I do work from home 99% of the time. So he has got company. It's just, even still, it's like having a little kid and not playing with them, isn't it? It's like, it's not very nice for them. So I don't want to sit for long periods of time and not interact with him. So I'm trying to do it in bite-sized chunks. I'm just changing what I used to do, really, just changing it up a bit. I'll tell you what, though, my mental state and my well-being has just transformed now that I've got him in my life. Because I was so isolated working from home, not really interacting with an awful lot of people, living on my own. Don't really have any sort of friends at the minute that go out on any sort of regular basis. They've all got families and stuff now, so there was nothing like that. So anytime, and then in winter, you don't want to go wandering around in the rain to go to a pub or anything. It's different in the summer. Like in the summer, it's quite nice to wander up the seafront by myself and just sit and have some beers, meet new people. But this has been amazing. It's just been transforming. Mentally, I feel better that I just don't feel alone in the house anymore because he's with me. He's constantly giving me affection. Like, he'll go off and sit on his own for, I don't know, say half an hour or something. He might wander through the kitchen, or 20 minutes, half an hour, and I'll be like, oh, where's he gone? And then sometimes I don't even shout him. He'll just come toddling through and then pounce up on the couch and give me a proper good hug and cuddle up, and he'll just chill with me on the couch. And then, of course, there's constant interaction so far as I need to sort his dinner out. It's taking care of somebody as well. Like, that makes a big difference in your life, that does. Having a focus point and somebody to take care of. And it's really, honestly, it's changed my whole mental state. Is just far, far better from having him. So I'm really delighted, people. I've tried this twice before, and both times it went south on me. And I've finally, touched wood, it's all going really, really well with him. So anyway, right, that's a huge amount of dog talk, people. We are creeping into game talk, I suppose. We have been playing Dragons Dogma 2, people, now that Diablo's done. I managed to finish Diablo 3 Let's Play on the eve of Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out, and then I managed to get the day of release off of work, had it downloaded, ready to play for when I woke up in the morning. So that's exactly what I did. I woke up, got Max out for his early walk, got back, got him settled. He went for a snooze next to me, and I cracked into some Dragon's Dogma 2. And I have to say, I'm just absolutely loving it. I've got 6 episodes in at the minute, which is probably about 8 hours, I want to say, because some of the episodes are longer than an hour, but it might be 7.5, 8 hours, something like that. And I've got every intention of playing some, if not today, then certainly over Easter weekend, because the first patch has arrived for it today, Good Friday, 2024, if you're watching this in the future. And by all accounts, it's made a massive difference to certainly the PS5 players. Now, here's the thing, right? And this is one of the articles I jotted down on my list of things to talk about, people, which we might get to and we might not. We're 20 minutes in already, so it might be that me sprapping away about everything off the top of my head works. But I did jot a couple of things down. From the minute I started playing it, because when I said to the people in the Discord chat for this channel that I was excited for Dragon's Dogma 2, then somebody said, oh, it's a shame it's locked at 30 FPS. I was like, oh, no, there's no 60 FPS mode. What a nightmare, because that is my thing now. If there's no 60 FPS mode, it's just a nightmare for me. My eyes can't adjust back to 30 FPS. And so anyway, I was like, ugh. So then I kind of held off ordering it and tried to find some comparison videos the day before, which I did. And by all accounts, and somebody in Discord somebody in Discord posted up the comparison video. It might have been, I can't remember who it was now. It might have been LLC Coolsey, it might have been Jamie, it might have been somebody else, can't remember. But anyway, as it was, I watched those, and the Xbox Series X was coming out on top of the performances. So I thought, right, we'll get it on the Xbox Series X then, which is what I did. And that's what you've been seeing me post up on the channel. And when I started playing it, I was like, oh, right, let's see how, I was all ready for it to be horrible, because I've already had a nightmare with Jedi Survivor, and Final Fantasy 16 is a bit of a wreck, and great games, but at launch, Jedi Survivor was a bloody nightmare. They did patch it to the point where it was actually great to play, and it's still one of my favourite games ever now that I've played it. So I was expecting it to be just like horrendous, and then I started playing it and I was like, this is great. I'm like, what's the problem? And I'm getting a proper, and the footage did say when I was watching the comparisons that there was pretty much all the time you were on 40 FPS or above pretty much, and every now and then it will drop down into the 30s. Now, and this is at 4K, and I didn't realise this until now, but it was 4K with ray tracing on as well, which is just like, holy shit. I haven't seen any of the game deliver 4K with ray tracing locked on at 40 FPS or above for the main part. Like, I haven't seen that at all. But everybody else in the Discord chat were like, oh my god, it's a nightmare, I'm going to have to stop playing it. And I was like, why is everybody else like flipping out about this game? I am the worst person for frame rate problems. I mean, I will stop playing a game. I stopped playing Jedi Survivor until it was sorted out. And yet it turned out they were all playing it on the PS5 and I was playing it on the Series X. So then I thought, well, it must be way worse on the PS5. The comparison video I saw there didn't seem to be that much of a difference between the two consoles, but it must be a lot worse than that was showing. Because I haven't had any problems, and I can tell it's not 60, but it's not 30. It's definitely playing in the 40s most of the time. And I'm finding it a really smooth, nice experience. I haven't tried the patch yet, but apparently you can turn off ray tracing and it gets you up to the high 40s, 50s, I think. So I will definitely try that in part 7 when I record it. At the moment, I've recorded up to part 6, I think. Dragon's Dogma 2 part 6 we did, so that went up yesterday. So if I record that today, tomorrow, I will definitely turn off ray tracing and see which one I want to stick with. But I've been having a great time with it. I can't tell you how good the game is. It's just brilliant, like absolutely brilliant. And I was worried that it was going to be a bit too much like the original, and I was never that wowed by the original. Like it's one of the most watched playthroughs on my channel, funnily enough, on the PS4 version, I think. And I always found it. I always got some fun out of it, but I never found like I never found like I was hooked to it. And the reason that I got through it originally was because the people on the channel wanted me to keep playing it. They wanted me to see it through, at least the campaign bit. And I know they wanted me to do stuff after I finished the campaign, but I didn't. But I didn't feel like connected really to its world or to the story or to the characters, or and I was kind of feeling like, well, if I'm just, and the more I saw of it, I thought, I feel like I'm just going to be seeing the same world but prettier all over again. Now, that is kind of true, but I do feel that this has been directed so much better than the original. Like, from the very beginning of the game, you get immersed in its little story. You get a really, really, really amazing cinematic entrance to the credits coming up and everything. The whole beginning just connected me immediately to the game and made me care almost immediately. Now, whether or not that actually continues through the game and the story becomes irrelevant, blah, 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 don't know that yet. But I am also having way much more fun with the combat system now that I've kind of figured it out. And it did take me the best part of the 6 episodes to figure out what the bloody hell I was doing, because I was missing little things that were going to make it much more fun. And again, thanks to everybody in the Discord chat for tips and tricks and blah. Well, not tips and tricks really, just paying bloody attention to tutorials, Stephen. But anyway, so it turned out that for some reason, when I figured out, I played 3 whole episodes without realizing I had like a power shot. I was just firing my bow with the standard loose shot. I didn't realize, and it didn't twig, that I had a power shot on it and how to activate it until I actually went to buy more powers, and then I was like, holy shit, I had a power there all along. Then I didn't realize that, because you can kind of, when you're firing the standard bow shot, it auto locks on, right? And then you can when you hit the aim button, which is RB, then all your power buttons come up and you can start using those. But when you do that, it's a reticle that comes up and you have to aim. It's not locking on anymore. And I thought, well, that's going to be painful. Things like harpies were a nightmare because they were flying around all over the place. I was like, fucking hell, why can't I use my moves without having to aim and just lock on for me? But I was doing it wrong, people. Well, I wasn't doing it wrong. That is the way to do it when you're aiming. But you only have to hit the LB button and your moves become available and you can use them locked on. And that in part 6, which is the one that went up yesterday, the fun I was having was just amazing. It just made battles so much more fun. And then you've got the aim if you really want to start focusing in on weak spots of enemies, or if you just want to fire a grenade into the center of something. Or I mean, it was just superb, really, really good. Say grenades, like explosive arrows or whatever. So yeah, I mean, I so much fun with that last episode. And also, like, I started the episode and I don't think we've gone more than so in the actual top world, I don't think we went more than like 300 feet or something, 300 yards even, because we were at a campsite and a rift stone and there was a cave, and we went into the cave and we were in there for bloody ages. It was a big goblin fest thing going on with loads of nooks and crannies to explore and things to find, and honestly, it was so good. It reminded me of like when you walk in Skyrim and you go into the caves and you're there for bloody ages. I mean, admittedly, there was nothing in the caves like big puzzles or anything, but there was great action down there, great enemies down there. It was just brilliant. And the only thing that I have to get my head around now is how to manage collecting and picking stuff up. As you level up and as you expand in your character and as you upgrade your equipment and stuff, you can carry more. But the trick is apparently that you just stockpile everything on your pawns, even if it's not your primary pawn. If you've got 2 pawns, apparently, if they die, your stuff goes straight to your storage. And someone can confirm this for me. If you trade a pawn in, and by that I mean if you get a pawn and then let the other one go, in the rift, I think, and somebody, I haven't tried this yet, but I think your stuff will go to storage that they were carrying, I think. Let me know in the comments below if that's false. Do the items transfer to the new pawn? Because I would suspect they go to storage. If that's the case, then it does make teleportation not so much of a problem, because this game doesn't just gift you the ability to transport all over the place. You've got to find specific stones that you can place around the world yourself to particular points and teleport from there to town and back again. But I don't think I've found one yet. Can't remember what they're called, but the teleport stones or something. As we don't have one, I would have to run all the way back to town, the town that I've discovered, or at least find another town where there's an inn where I can put stuff in storage. However, if you're trading rifts in at the rift stones, which you find more regularly around the world, then in theory that stuff will just go with that pawn will go and all that stuff will go into your storage, and that's great. It's one way around it. You don't want to do it too much because you'll be using up all your rift crystals, but your general rift coins or whatever they're called, rift coins. So yeah, honestly, like the more you get things figured out, and the more you I'm heading toward sort of key. In fact, I don't think it's a side quest. I think it's one of my main quests. It's got 3 different areas to go to, and the very purpose of this quest is to get you to go all the way around this map without any shadow of a doubt. And I'm just wandering to every corner of this thing and just having a good time with it. I know generally speaking, I'm conscious of that in Let's Plays because I don't know how interesting it is for people, but I've kind of said I don't care because I just want to enjoy the game, and I'm hoping that comes across while people watch it. So we're just exploring and we're taking our time and we're trying to find it. And I'm glad I have, because I've found little collectibles and stuff that you absolutely will not get if you don't look in every little corner and nook and cranny. So I'm really enjoying it. The people in Discord chat have said to me that they're enjoying it. They want me to see it through. LLC Cool C Play, I hear you, mate. I hear you. I do think that this is a much bigger game than the original, though, so we'll see how far and how many hours I do get into it. But I would at least like to see the campaign through. But I'm not going to rush into the campaign. I'm going to have a good investigation of the world while we head to these quests that we have. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I don't know what the hoo-ha is. I don't know why people are complaining about it. There's also people were getting all jumpsy and antsy about the pawn plague, which is a thing in the game where apparently my understanding of it is, correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong, your pawns can catch it, and if they catch it, they basically turn on you. So that would suggest to me, I don't know how bad that can get, but from an article I was reading, which I have got there, we can read through it if we want to, but there are plenty of tools in the game to get you out of it. It doesn't what was it they said? It doesn't soft stop your game, like so you're completely stuck and you don't know what to do. There are things you can get that will get you out of that problem. There's also been a lot of complaining about in-game purchases. Now, I didn't even notice in-game purchases in this game yet. So if there is in-game purchases, they're certainly not throwing them in your face, because I haven't noticed them at all. So I don't know what that's all about. I don't know why people are having a hoo-ha about that. So anyway, let me know in the comments below what your experience, if you're playing the game, and what your experiences have been. I know at this point that most people that follow the channel are probably playing on PlayStation. That's just how the world works at the moment, because because of the Xbox One's launch downfall. There's just more PlayStation players in the world. That's all that is. I'm in a lucky position to have both, and I will play where I feel most comfortable. And by God, I'm happy that I got it on the Xbox Series X this time, because obviously the PS5 was having a bit more trouble with it than that was. But that's not always the case. It can depend on the game as to which one plays better. But I do have a little soft spot for my Series X, I have to say, and a lot of that comes from the fact that the controller bloody battery power annoys me in the Xbox and the PlayStation. I wouldn't bother me if I could just replace the batteries. My Xbox handset is just my controller. I can just, when the batteries last for about a bloody week, even if I'm playing a lot. And B, I've got like a little set of rechargeable batteries constantly, like they charge down next to me. If it's running low, I literally take out the two rechargeable batteries, take 2 rechargeable batteries out of the charger, put them into my thing, put the other 2 into charge again, and I'm off. I never have to think about plugging a cable in or any of that bollocks. But the minute I play PlayStation for about 3 hours, I have to do some form of charging. Now that's either, I've got 2 controllers, one of them's starting to get a bit iffy. That's another thing as well. They don't seem to have the durability of the Xbox ones either. The first one that I ever, I got them both at the same time on launch, and the one that I used most is now it doesn't, like, one of the sticks doesn't, the directions all over the place. It's not quite right. So I'm now using the second one. So in theory, I could jump between the two, but now I can't really do that because one of them's a bit iffy. And so I tend to have that sort of softer spot for the Xbox. I think that's part of the reason why. I don't know. And it's got that little extra bit of power, obviously, which is never a bad thing. However, one of the other things, so there you are, there's Dragons Dogma 2. I'll kind of leave it there for Dragons Dogma 2 at this point. Let me know in the comments below about, as I say, about your experiences, how you've been finding the game, where you've been playing it. But I just haven't. There's not one part of me that understands what the hoo-ha has been about. Certainly on an Xbox Series X point of view. I can't obviously comment on the PS4 point of view, because PS5 point of view, because I haven't played it there. So I understand if it is just awful there. But I've been having a great time with it on Series X, and I haven't had any grumbles at all, other than the fact that, yeah, I would love them to do a 1440p 60 mode, which hasn't come in this patch, but they have said that going forward they will be working on frame rates even further in future patches. But for now, you're now able to turn off ray tracing and get that extra bit of power into your frame rates if that's what you want to do. So I will try that on the next recording. So there you are. Yeah, that's Dragon's Dogma 2 discussed and sorted out, people. Now here's the thing, people. Talking of the Xbox Series X having a tiny bit more power than the PlayStation 5, in theory, if tapped into, the PlayStation 5 Pro is upon us, people, it is said. Now, I've only remembered about this as I was talking about the extra power of the Series X, and if I'd remembered beforehand for my notes for this little chit-chat today, I would have made some notes about what the rumoured specs were. But here's the thing. The specs apparently don't look like... There's no mention in the specs that we've seen, rumoured specs we've seen, about frames per second being any better. It all seems to be kind of like, people are like, what is the point of this thing? So it's going to be interesting. I will most likely get a PlayStation 5 Pro because it is obviously going to be of benefit to my channel, and people, if I'm posting up Let's Play stuff on the PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation 5, and I'm wondering if I started this whole conversation off with PlayStation 4 Pro is upon us. PlayStation 5 Pro is upon us, people. PlayStation, if I'm posting stuff on PlayStation 5 and other people are posting up PlayStation 5 Pro, then it's obviously more interesting for folks to go and see what it's like over there. Much as I like to think my dynamic personality drags you all in, people. It is a thing. Like, it is by far, and I mean, I did it with the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. I did it with the wherever I can, I will get the newest version of the console. So we will, if it comes out, people, I will be getting one and trying to get one at launch so that I can be saying I'm posting up from the PlayStation 5 Pro on the channel. And also I'll be interested to see just what of my favourite games, my favourite RPGs run even better, or, you know, do better things, or even at launches of new games, see if they tap into it. I think also there was a bit of a hoo-ha that even when the Pro launches, that there wasn't any sort of library of games that they've got ready to take advantage of it. So it's all kind of a little bit sort of... But it is all rumours at this point, people. But it isn't going to be the kind of leap that the PS4 to PS4 Pro was, because that was a significant difference. I remember... I'm pretty sure that's when there was a patch for Dark Souls 3, wasn't there, that made it play at 60 FPS on the PS4 Pro. And there was some really, really cool additions to games or updates to games made that would really cream the Pro versions. I'm pretty sure that the Pro versions were what brought 4K in, weren't they? They were proper 4K at that point. That's why they were such a big thing at the time. So I'm trying to remember the Xbox now. Was it? Yeah, it was the Xbox One X, wasn't it? That's it. Yeah, the Xbox One X was the 4K version. Yeah, so it was they jumped to 4K. Now with these new Pro ones, there's nothing as major as that going on. It really is just a little boost in I'm going to say graphics, but I think, having read the specs, I think people were saying that there wasn't even that much of a boost there either, and a lot of it was the very same innards being used. So it's going to be very interesting to see what those specs are. If I can find a sort of image with the rumoured specs and stuff on it, I'll maybe try and post it up behind me while I've been talking about it. But all in all, without going into the innards of... I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between a lot of the specs anyway, but they'll be able to tell you what it might sort of give you boosts on. The Xbox One X was the 4K version, yeah, so it was the they jumped to 4K. Now with the Xbox One X was the 4K version. Yeah, so it was the they jumped to 4K. there certainly doesn't seem to be enough there that the bog standard PlayStation player is going to say, I'm going to spend another 400, 500 quid to get a Pro. So I think it will be the sort of hardcore players and the people like me who have channels and stuff like that who want to show off what this thing can do. And then again, it'll be, I mean, yeah, and what are we looking at there? Another 3 years, and they'll probably be looking at a PlayStation 6. So, people will be thinking, what's the point? What's the point, really? So, we'll see, though. There is absolutely nothing official, but it is heavily rumoured and almost a certainty that they are coming this year. And I suspect if that's the case, then it's going to be for, you would think, holiday season. Because PlayStation would be saying that their sales have really dropped off now. So they want a reason for people to come and buy something else. And there you are. So you've got holiday season, PlayStation 4 Pro. As far as we know, there is no equivalent coming from Xbox at that point of rumour. And I think Phil Spencer had already said that he didn't see the point of doing a mid-generation jump. They have been talking about doing, I think, Xbox Series... Oh, there was rumours of an Xbox Series X... digital only, that's what it was, that I saw today. Again, rumoured, and it was white. I mean, for me, I am starting to go more toward the digital. It is just far easier as time is moving on. I do still like having my... I still, most of the games, I've got a little pile of PS5 games over there, but there's quite a few that don't even launch on disc anymore. But the reason that I kind of... The reason I like the discs for the PlayStation anyway is because I don't know, I just like that collection thing. It's dead quick to install them as opposed to having to download. I mean, I've got a 50 meg download, it's not slow. But the size of the games now, that'll take about 3.5 hours to download a big game. So there's all of that. I mean, yeah, I could buy faster broadband and all that sort of malarkey. I think I can get 100 to my door now, but I don't want to spend the extra money, really. You know, if you plan ahead, you can just get them downloaded. What I'm doing is, if I don't want to completely delete it, then I'll move it onto an external hard drive and then drag it back over, which is quicker than downloading it all over again. So there's workarounds for it. But the digital, I mean, I've literally, on the Xbox Series X, I don't buy discs anymore. If I'm buying a game on that, it's digital every time. And then the main reason for that was because... I've said this before on the channel, was because you couldn't guarantee that the new gen version was on the disc. I mean, you probably can now, but at the beginning, like when I got Valhalla on launch day, it wasn't the new gen version on the disc. It was the old gen version on the disc, and then it downloaded 100 gig anyway to get it upgraded. So, you know, that became frustrating. I thought, what's the point of having the discs? So I've not been buying the anything I buy on the Xbox Series X has been digital. So it became a digital machine, really. Anyway, well, there you are. To be fair, I've got a soft spot for both consoles. But it'll be interesting to see. Let me know in the comments below if you'd be interested in a PlayStation 5 Pro, people. And in fact, get talking about the specs if you know what they are. And would you be interested in Xbox Series X Pro? I mean, I would, without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, I would get both if they both come along. And it's not part of my budget plan, but it will be if they announce them. Channel-wise, it's just a no-brainer. So there you are, yeah, exciting times, people. Now, I did have a note of a few things. Do we want to talk about? Channel-y stuff we've talked about. Oh yeah, Witcher 4. The Witcher. Oh, actually, I might have misunderstood the. Yeah, Witcher 4. That's right. Yeah. For some reason, I'm thinking Witcher 4. That's already out, isn't it? Thinking of Witcher 3. Yeah, The Witcher 4 Polaris is in full swing of development at CD Projekt. It devotes a bulk of its efforts to development. Should we read that article, people? That sounds... I'll read it better than I just read that bloody... What I will do is, though, I'll put my old man glasses on, people. Hello. I say old man glasses. It's not old man glasses. They're perfectly normal glasses. It's the person wearing them that's an old man. The glasses are fine. It's the person under them. Right, why is this not showing me as a link? Bear with me, people. There we go. And this is coming from IGN, if I remember rightly. The Witcher 4 Polaris in full swing as CD Projekt Red devotes bulk of its efforts to development. With the bulk of Cyberpunk 2077 finished, CD Projekt Red has now shuffled its priorities, putting the bulk of its resources into developing the next mainline, the Witcher game, codenamed Polaris. So worth noting that is, excuse me people, it is worth noting that is a code name, not the actual name of the game. During an earning call to discuss the 2023 fiscal year, CD Projekt revealed that it is dedicating a bulk of its efforts to developing the next installment in its widely popular fantasy-themed RPG series. As you can see from the screenshot below, which you can't, but we'll see if I can show you it, CD Projekt Red was fully transparent with investors and those listening in on the call, showing exactly how many developers are being allocated to its current and future projects. The chart reveals that it has over 600 developers at the studio, over 400 of whom are assigned to Polaris development. Wow, that's an amazing amount of people, isn't it, on a game? Jesus Christ. I remember, I think, the 343 Industries, which were doing the Halo games, I don't know if they still are, but I think I remember at one point seeing they had 300, so that's insane, isn't it? 600 developers. Also interesting to note is that the next installment in the Cyberpunk franchise, codenamed Orion, has 47 currently assigned to the project. CD Projekt also revealed that Orion is in the concept stage of its development. The company has previously revealed that its new studio, based in Boston, Massachusetts, you're welcome, has been assigned to work on the project. This is not the first time CD Projekt has disclosed that a good portion of its employees are working on the next The Witcher game. In late November, during the 2023 earnings report, CD Projekt revealed that almost 330, 50% of its staff, were tasked with developing the project. With today's announcement, some quick math shows that the number is now over half of the development team. About 64% of its staff are working on The Witcher 4 development. That increase in developers is likely due to a big part of the Cyberpunk 2077 team moving over to work on The Witcher 4. CD Projekt confirmed that a new The Witcher game was in development back in 2022. While details on the next entry are slim, we do know that it will run on an Unreal Engine 5. CD Projekt Red game director Sebastian Kalemba said in an interview last December with Lega Nerd that the goal of the next entry is to build something that goes beyond the previous The Witcher and that manages to tell something more intense with also more intense gameplay. Though don't expect The Witcher 4 anytime soon, CD Projekt Red Studio President and co-CEO Adam Kaczynski said in 2022 that the project was at least 3 years away. This means that it could come out as early as next year. It is worth noting today's earnings call also disclosed that Polaris project stage is pre-production. Well, if he said a minimum of 3 years away in 2022, then But I would, a game that size, I'm going to be tempering my expectations to probably 2026 or late 2025 if anything, but 2026 I would say seems like a reasonable time frame if that's how long they've been working on it. So superb. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be great, isn't it? I mean, The Witcher's so good, such a good game. I mean, it hands down is the best game, the best RPG as far as quests and side quests goes. And in fact, one of the best things it did was that grinding in the world to kill enemies did you really no good when it came to leveling up, apart from very, very early on. But there is the best way to get leveled up in that game is to do quests and that's where all your big XP boosts come from, to get leveled up. And the benefit of grinding out in the world is to get the stuff you collect off of the dead creatures in order to make the super armors and the super weapons that you need to make, and the recipes for those and the specs for those. And that for me was way better than just grinding out points from enemies, and it made playing the quests so it didn't make them fun, but it made them you felt complete when you did them, because you got this big whack of XP at the end of them. But not only that, every quest you did was really interesting. It had a really interesting backstory. I mean, there were so many quests in that game that you didn't necessarily have to do that were just super interesting to do. with great reward at the end of them, and great characters to meet, and enemies to fight, and monsters to slay. It was just superb. Really, really, really well done. You really did want to cream everything you could out of that world's story and quests and things to do. Rather than just go, well, I've still got 5 fucking cave quests to do, but I know that they're all going to be the same. So it really stood out in that respect. So really excited for Witcher 4. I think it's going to be absolutely superb. And there was there not also a rumour of a remake of Witcher 2? I feel like there was, I feel like there was a rumour of a remake of Witcher 2, but in the Witcher 3 engine or something. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. But I remember reading that somewhere. It wasn't part of my notes for today, but it just popped into my head as we were talking about it. I'm almost positive I heard that somewhere, or read it somewhere. So there you are. Blimey, we've been talking for 50 minutes, people. I've barely touched this list. To be fair, this was a list that I've been adding to for the whole 4 months that, what is it? December, January, February, May. 4 months that I've not done any vlogs. Diablo 4 now on Game Pass for PC and console, by the way. Game Pass for both. And all the other stories thereafter were kind of really old ones, which we don't necessarily have to speak about now because they're all kind of old hat, really. And as we're kind of approaching the hour mark anyway, we've kind of done a fairly healthy vlog there, people, haven't we? So, wow, thoroughly enjoyed that, people. Although it is I've done it before without a flagon, to be fair, on a few occasions. But it does feel a little bit strange without a flagon of ale to do this with, people. But it's still only 1:15 in the afternoon. So, let me know in the comments below about any of the topics I've been talking about, people. Even if it's about puppies, people. Look, just talk to me in the comments below. And come and join in with the Discord chat if you want to have a more regular instant communique with my good self and the other good people that are in there. So it's a good, tight, small little group at the moment, but everybody is welcome if you want to come and join in the Discord chat. It's kind of an instantaneous way of keeping in touch with each other. It's one of those, we can not talk for a week or so, and then suddenly everyone's pinging up messages about, the reason I knew the patch for Dragons Dogma was coming out was because somebody posted it up in there. So it's a nice little group of people we've got in there, but everybody is welcome. So do come along and join in, people, with the Discord chat if you want to do that. But as always, if you don't want to do that, or even if you want to do that, do this as well. Leave comments in the comments below, people. My weekend is now going to consist of a number of things. Being off work today because it's Good Friday, and being off work on Monday because it's Easter Monday. I've got the extended weekend, and we've got 2 days of sunshine. Right? I've been pissing down for about 4 months in this country. And you can't walk on a bit of grass anywhere without sinking to your ankles. It's like unbelievable. So I've never seen anything like it. See, whoever wrote the bloody Bible, 30 days and 30 nights of bloody rain was nothing. They clearly didn't live through the first fucking 4 months of 2024. So I'm almost building a fucking ark, people, and the way things are. But anyway, we've got 2 days of definite dry weather, Saturday and Sunday. So far, the weather app is telling me. And tomorrow, Saturday, is supposed to be glorious sunshine all day. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. And because of that, I've been putting this off for years, people, because I like to do like one big thing to the house every year. Take something out of the budget and put some money into the house or whatever. And this year I was going to get the back door done, going to replaced, and the blinds on that bit replaced. In fact, I was going to do those blinds and some of the others. And I've already got that costed up, actually. But anyway, one thing I keep putting off is that I don't have, my house has got 2 houses beside it, so I can't go round the outside of my house to my garden. I have to go through my house to my garden. So whenever I cut the grass or do anything, I've got to drag everything from this. I've got a little storage cupboard out the front of the house which sits beside the front door. It's like a wooden door. It's a really handy little room, actually. But I have to drag the lawnmower and all the gardening stuff through the living room into the garden. Well, living room, kitchen into the garden. So for years I've been like, I want to get like a half shed thing. I want to get, some storage out there. And also the bike and the barbecue are constantly out and covered with material. And it's not the first time a fucking wind has taken them across the garden. The bike's in a right state. Its chain and its wheels are getting really knackered. So I want to save what I can of the bike because the frame's still in really good nick. And I want to get it out into some sort of storage device so it's not just covered with a sheet. So anyway, I kept putting it off, and it's like a massive Kita. It's they're made by a company called Kita, and it's a massive sort of half shed thing made of plastic. You can lift the top, or you can open the doors at the front. And there was also a matching bench that came with it, which kind of same style, same colours and everything, but you can lift the seat up and store stuff in there as well. And also, if I want to go and just sit in the garden with Max for 10 minutes, I don't want to keep dragging chairs out every time I want to sit in the garden. So it's nice just to have a little bench out there. So those have arrived today. The fucking massive boxes. I'm looking at them now through in the kitchen over there. As I was setting up this camera and everything, they arrived at the door. And the reason I ordered them was because I thought, fucking, right, we've got these 2 dry days coming up, so I can build them out there between today and tomorrow and Sunday, and get them out and sorted and get that ready for when I'm gonna, every year at the beginning of spring when the weather turns nice, I've got what are they called? Well, it's a jet wash, but it was the name of a Kershaw? Oh, I can't remember now. Kershaw jet spray, whatever it is. So I've got a jet spray, and I spray down the whole of the decking and the concrete slabs at the front. Get it all cleaned up, and I want to be able to look out the back doors and just see that beautiful garden, and get the garden sorted out, because it's in winter state at the moment, so that needs all tidying up for spring. But I need the fucking rain to dry out first. So there you are. So that's why I've done that, and I've got that to do this weekend. It was a bit of an investment. It was about 500 quid. So, but it was well worth it, and I kept putting it off year after year after year, and it's just frustrating the shit out of me now. And also, when I sit on that little settee out there working and let Max out, I can only see half the garden because the bike where it's perched is covering half the door. So once I get that thing in, it'll be on the other side of the decking, and I can put everything in there. I'll be able to see the whole garden. I'll be able to see him out there doing whatever he's doing and playing away. So that'll be really good for the summer. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that. I think there's going to be a bit of graft in it. A fucking massive box. I had to get the guy to carry it through to the kitchen with me because I couldn't lift it by myself. I have to drag it through to the garden, people. So that's me. That's part of my weekend anyway. I'm hoping it won't take as long as I'm thinking it will. But you know what these things are like. You open them up and the instructions, they're in English, but they might as well be in fucking Japanese because you can't really understand. It's like a fucking Roman scroll. That'll be me, like, fucking hell, I'll have had 20 pints by the time I get through those if it frustrates me. But we'll see how we go, people. I'll get my manly DIY face on and get to it, eh? Well, there you are, folks. I've whittled on long enough. I've thoroughly enjoyed that, people. I feel like I've been sat at an angle for nearly most of it, though. I don't know why I did that. But there you are. Yes, again, let me know in the comments below about anything that I've been talking about. It's been fantastic to talk to you all again. It really, really has. I've really, really enjoyed doing this. So I shouldn't leave it so long, people. I shouldn't leave it so long. There you are. I'll give a shout out to Timsky, who kept poking me and say, Steve, when's a Fag Luck Friday coming? There you are, my friend. There is one for you. I'm sorry there's no actual flagging in it, but there you are. And it is really nice that people miss these. So do keep giving me a poke every now and then if I don't do them. It is really appreciated to know that you want to see me. So there you are, folks. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you once again in this little vlog of mine today. And I shall see you all in the next one, folks. Take it easy. Bye.